Heyo, this is a new episode of We Talk, and today we're going to be discussing the Titanfall Beta, what my impressions were, what was good, and what concerns I may have. Firstly, I want to say that this game is incredibly fun. It is fast-paced and very exciting. I was afraid that this game would be viewed as Call of Duty with giant robots, and it does kind of have that Call of Duty vibe to it, but from what I experienced, it has the potential to be unique enough to be something different. Unlike Call of Duty, Titanfall's environments are multi-layered with buildings, enclosed spaces, and wide open areas. The environments complement infantry and Titans perfectly. You can free run along walls and jetpack from rooftop to rooftop, or rampage through the streets with your Titan, crushing anything that dare cross your path. The maps also are about the size of a Call of Duty map, but perhaps a little bit bigger. They aren't Battlefield 4 big, but big enough to inhabit large walking robots, but to also keep the action comfortably between well spread out and close together. It's a nice touch that keeps the pace of the game well balanced. There are two maps in the beta, both with very different experiences. Angel City is really narrow and offers lots of close quarter combat while also presenting a huge playground for pilots to navigate through. Fracture is much more open and seems to favor the Titans than infantry, while also being prone to more long-ranged battles. Both maps are really beautiful and well thought out, but also seem to tell a story. Look up into the sky on Fracture and you'll see another planet with a small moon, and you'll realize that this isn't Earth, but a war-torn environment with run-down buildings. The game's graphics look really nice. I love the way that the Titans look and thought that the weapon designs were really cool. I also enjoyed the way the environments looked and that everything together really helped bring this game to life, and it was only the beta. I don't think it's going to win any awards for its graphics, but it looks good. You play one of two factions, the IMC or the Militia. To me, the Militia come off as the good guys, the freedom fighters, while the IMC appear as the evil Empire types. This may be more elaborated on in the game's story, but it's important to note that there isn't a single player mode to Titanfall. It is all multiplayer. It incorporates story in its multiplayer, which is a really cool thing to think of, and also makes me wonder if you'll be picking factions at the start of the game like the Militia or the IMC, which really could give you two different perspectives to the game entirely. The battles of the Titanfall beta bring forth three modes: Attrition, which is like a team deathmatch; Hardpoint, which is like Domination, where you fight for control of 3 capture points; and Last Titan Standing, where all players start with a Titan and the goal is to eliminate all the Titans on the enemy team to win the round. The first to 4 victories wins. There is also a fourth mode known as Beta Variety, which selects one of the 3 modes at random for you to play. The modes in Titanfall can go very quickly, as both Attrition and Hardpoint can last between 8 or 10 minutes, while Last Titan Standing can go for much longer. I also enjoyed the shooting in this game, as the guns don't have any kickback to them. You aim your weapon, fire, and don't have to compensate. While this may not be realistic, but neither are giant walking tanks. At least not yet. The game isn't going for a realistic feel, but a shooter that people play for fun. I also enjoyed the epilogue sequences at the end of each game. When you lose the game, you have a limited amount of time to reach an extraction point and board a dropship to escape. When you win the game, you must try and stop the pilots from escaping and destroy the dropship. It is also important to note that during the epilogue, there are no respawns. I have gotten aboard the evac dropship, and the sequence when escaping, shooting up into space, is pretty awesome, and seeing the 1 or 2 guys that may or may not be with you really makes you feel like you just barely got out of that battle alive. When it comes to destroying the dropship, it's a team effort. You won't be able to do it on your own, but when your team focuses fire on the dropship, you can take it down pretty quickly. It may not happen as often as being successfully evacuated from battle, but it is still possible. Each team gets 6 human players, plus several AI-controlled infantry units, but only the human players, the pilots, can call in a Titan and you can pilot it yourself or let the AI control it for you. The AI infantry in Titanfall are abysmal, as they are downright dumb. At one point while I was playing Hardpoint, I witnessed enemy infantry race into the room, look at me, and then turn around, putting their backs to me to take position to capture the point. I would also run around through the streets and just melee the AI one by one as their friends watched. And the accuracy of the AI is so bad that they'll just burst fire all around me and frequently stop to reload. I can't even remember a time that an AI unit even killed me. The only real challenge in this game are the human players. The AI do have some cool moments to them, as I witnessed one dragging his fallen comrade out of the line of fire, and many more instances where I heard them commenting during battle. This helped give them life, and it made me wonder if they were only dumb for the beta, but would be brought up to an acceptable standard at release. The controls of the game are awesome. While it wasn't something I mastered at first, the more I played, the more I understood how the controls really worked. And before I knew it, I was wall running and rooftop jumping like it was second nature to me. And nothing is more satisfying than when you bounce between buildings and to the top of an enemy Titan. Part of the reason why Titanfall is so fast paced is due in part to this free running feature, as it can quickly get you to the action or help you be strategic. During one game, I was in my Titan clashing with another Titan in the middle of Angel City. I then jumped out of my Titan and leaped into a building to flank the enemy Titan while my AI control Titan kept drawing attention. I then jumped from the roof of a building to the top of the enemy when I then proceeded to blast at its head to destroy it. It is these kinds of moments that you cannot get in a Call of Duty game. The balance between Titan and infantry is great, and was one of the things that I was concerned about going into the game. While it is foolish for a pilot to take on a Titan head to head, by utilizing the environment, the weapons, and the abilities you have as a pilot, you can actually topple a Titan on your own. The Titans are not overpowered, as I was afraid that they would be, and that is certainly a plus. And the cooldown between each Titan drop of a little over 2 minutes definitely keeps the playing field clear of a dozen Titans running around at all times. As a pilot, you have the ability to navigate more freely than in any other first-person shooter, as well as special abilities like cloaking that you can use to take advantage and sneak up on your enemies. While this cloak won't make you 100% invisible, you would be surprised how many times you will sneak up on a player not paying attention. It is really satisfying to break the neck of an unsuspecting player. As a Titan, you have a few more abilities at your disposal. The Vortex Shield will catch enemy projectiles that you can use to fling back at your enemies. You also have an electrified smoke to deal with those pesky pilots on your back, or to use for a hasty retreat when using the dash feature to cover ground quickly. There is something for almost every situation, and FPS fans are going to be in heaven with this game. There is a system similar to perks in the form of burn cards. These cards each have a special ability that you can activate during your playthrough. One can have you move quicker, one will reduce the cooldown to call in for a new Titan, and some will give you new weapons or a new Titan that you can redeem during play or save it for another round. Just like in any shooter, you can customize your loadouts, but one thing that I would really like to see is the addition to fully customize the look of your Titan. I would love to create the coolest looking Titan in game and have it be my personal Titan. I believe that this would be a nice addition to the game. I would also like to see more game modes. I am sure that we were only given a taste in the beta and that the actual game will have more to offer, but I think that it will also need a game mode unique to Titanfall. Sure, give us the team deathmatch, the domination and such, but give us more of the last Titan standing modes. As I said, it needs to be something unique to Titanfall. A game that is all multiplayer will need something cool to keep people out of the Call of Duty and Battlefield servers and into the arms of Titanfall. In closing, this game looks awesome and plays like something that is both familiar to me and yet also new. I really hope that the actual game will really blow me away, because I would hate to always think of this game as Call of Duty with giant robots, but I would love to see Call of Duty as Titanfall without giant robots. Remember, Titanfall gets released on March 11th. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week for a brand new episode.